Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, welcome to my channel. And for those who are new, I know you can benefit. I kind of want to label this Late Night with Jules, because it's always 11:30 or more by the time I get to this video. And so forgive me if my eyes look bloodshot or anything else, but you are very much worth my time, and I'm happy to check in. So I often want to share from my daily meditation books, and this is one of my favorites, Food for Thought by the Hazelton Meditation Series. And it is for anybody who has, food issues. And most people checking in here do, even though most of you are trying to just figure your way and maybe find out more about being vegan. What I largely address are the issues behind what drives us to eat, and in particular make poor choices regarding our eating habits. So this one was labeled Hunger is a Habit, and this reading was actually for today, which is May 17th. Actually, forgive me, today's May 16th. All right, so this is for tomorrow, May 17th. I was ahead of myself, which is all good. Since it's almost May 17th in about, 32 minutes. So the title was actually called Hunger is a Habit. And I found this really interesting. It says, have you ever had the experience of being so interested in what you were doing that mealtime came and went before you realized that it was time to eat? Because you were not thinking about food, you were not aware of being hungry. I think that's happened for me more in this past year when I've been trying to just eat to live instead of living to eat, and reducing the toxicities in my body with less toxic foods. My body is usually at peace, and I think with that, my mind. So yeah, I can relate to that. So then it says, eating provides a diversion from the tasks of the day. It is something to do when we can't think of anything else to do. Often our hunger in anticipation of a meal arises because we look at the clock and see that it's almost time to eat. And of course, almost time as set by a lifetime of habits that says people need to have breakfast first thing in the morning to start your day, lunch, dinner, a snack, right? I mean, way back when, people were happy to get one meal. And now, not only do we have 4 meals, unless you're aware of intermittent fasting, and even with that, you may choose to have 4 meals in your 8-hour window. But many people are having 6 meals, 8 meals, and so many people never even digest what they ate. So it's this sense that you see the clock and say, oh no, I better eat, or what, you'll starve to death and die? Not likely, right? All right, so then it says, instead of being aware of how we are feeling internally, we allow habit and external cues to stimulate our appetite. It is noon, therefore I must be hungry. I get that. I so get that. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like as a teacher, right? And we just live by the clock. I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny. Even on my off times, someone will say what time it is, and without a watch or anything else, I can tell them within the minute. And they're like, what the heck? Are you like reading the sun or something? No, I have this constant clock going on because every minute there's going to be a bell. Recess is coming up. It's just like every single second. So I get that, right? Because the children come to school and presumably they've had breakfast, and within a half hour it's time for nutrition. And then, within another hour it's first recess, and a lot of them bring a snack. And within an hour and a half it's lunchtime. And then within an hour and a half more it's last recess. And finally it's after school. And if they're in the after school program, it's another opportunity to eat. And it's all well and good in their children, but the choices aren't always lovely, and it's constant. And so right now I don't feel confident enough to be doing intermittent fasting because I'm so dang compulsive. I can't even stand it. And I'm like, biting my nails, to not be doing my standard American diet, which is such a nightmare. Ah, God, I can't even tell you, but that's not the purpose of this talk. But trust me, I understand living by the clock, and I understand being triggered by the clock to say, oh, you better eat. So then it says, the more we can concentrate on activities other than eating, the more successful we will be in controlling our disease, our dis-ease regarding our eating and how that affects us, right? We need a program, one which gives meaning to our days and satisfaction to our spirit. Our higher power will lift us out of the rut of destructive habits if we sincerely give our lives into his care. And then finally it says, teach me constructive habits, I pray. And of course, by higher power, that could be anyone, right? That could be somebody just working the program. And by program, that's whatever food modality you're following, right? I don't know what you're doing, because most of you don't share anything. And most of the time I'm going, cricket, cricket, nobody's here. But I just keep showing up, right? Mostly for myself and hoping someone will benefit. But honestly, whether you're just admiring somebody who's eating a certain way that you would like to, whether you're following an actual plan, and I don't know what that could be, Weight Watchers, paleo, I don't even know, whole food plant-based, which I love the most. I would encourage that the most. And of course, people who dare to be high carb, low fat, raw vegan, which is just phenomenal. All right, all of those things are super good. So here we go. Here's the clean read, people. I'd love to know what you think. Hunger is a habit. Have you ever had the experience of being so interested in what you were doing that meals came and went before you realized that it was time to eat? Because you were not thinking about food, you were not aware of being hungry. Eating provides a diversion from the tasks of the day. It is something to do when we can't think of anything else to do. Often our hunger in anticipation of a meal arises because we look at the clock and see that it's almost time to eat. Instead of being aware of how we are feeling internally, we allow habit and external cues to stimulate our appetite. It is noon, therefore I must be hungry. The more we can concentrate on activities other than eating, the more successful we will be in controlling our disease. We need a program, one which gives meaning to our days and satisfaction to our spirits. Our higher power will lift us out of the rut of destructive habits if we sincerely give our lives into his care. Teach me constructive habits, I pray. Of course, I understand that eating is a necessity. I understand that we need to be eating to live and not living to eat. But I really understand the perspective of this, that there's so many habits, especially in our society, that says we have to eat at certain times, we have to have a certain number of meals a day, and people around us. How often are people around you saying, did you remember to eat breakfast? Have you had your lunch yet? Can I offer you a snack? Especially when I think of how many people have declared themselves as having hypoglycemia. And I'm not saying you don't have that. I'm just saying that it's more rare than we've been led to believe. And I think the toxicities in our food are lending themselves to the symptoms that mimic what less than 1% of the population actually suffers from, which is hypoglycemia. My entire family says, well, we're hyperglycemic. It runs in the family. Oh, I know. I need to have crackers with me all the time. Oh, I make sure I get my snack or else. I'm telling you, when I'm eating right, I got no deficits of any kind. The sad thing, though, is I, of course, have slipped in the 7 months since I started this journey. And I want to claim things like the idea that cancer can exist in an alkaline body. that people who have an alkaline body don't get sunburned or don't have to worry so much about things like skin cancers and stuff, which of course I have totally had. And I love the proclamations of those, but I'm accidentally claiming them when I'm slipping. So my body isn't completely alkaline. I don't have the right to think that I am completely protected in those ways because I'm not completely living the lifestyle yet in that way. So it's kind of interesting. I got to be thinking about that. But anyway, I agree. Hunger can be a habit. Yes, we should always have a plan. But when I'm triggered throughout my day, it's usually from habit. Because people said I should probably partake of blank, blank, blank. Because I should make sure I'm eating at this time and that time, like all those kind of things. All right, what do you think about that? I'd love to hear your opinion. I'd love to hear that anybody even listens to me at all, and that this channel's even worth anything. Honestly, I fight myself every day to say, girl, you aren't touching any lives. Let it go. And then I'm just like, that's my worst self putting me down. And I need to show up because I said I'd show up for one person, right? Even if that one person is me. How about that? All right, my friends, peace be with you. Like if you like, join us if you haven't. Leave comments so that I can support you. And until we talk again, best of all, be blessed.